What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchet REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. Super excited about this video. If you're new to us
and we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, alright? Join the family without further ado. Let's get into the video.
Let's get it.
So going back to talk about racism, what I think is that it is very subtle. It will probably come across to you as a joke. The person might claim to be joking where they make snide comments, condescending or derogatory comments from what I have seen. So to put that into more context, I've had a time where someone told me that I look like Bob Marley. Guys, please tell me. Is it true? Is it true that I look like Bob Marley? I don't think so. You know how ladies, black skin girls like to, spice up how we look, and we tend to change our hairstyles from time to time. So usually I would wear a wig to work, and I do that quite often. I change my hairstyles very often. So this one time I went to work wearing braids, freshly made braids, looking very on point, And this guy is someone who most people know to just talk without any filter. He just says things and he's very chatty. So he just saw me and he's like, "Hey, Abby, you look like Bob Marley, And he made that comment. And when someone just makes a comment you don't expect, and for some reason I had no instant response for him. I did not know what to say. And then to make things worse, as soon as he made that comment, someone starts laughing. It was just so embarrassing, and unfortunately, I wasn't prepared to respond. Even right now, I don't recall what I said to him there and then. But I know that I just walked away to my table and I was pondering about what he had said. So is this guy just joking innocently, or is he just being downright racist? And it took me about 4 days to decide what my line of action will be. And I should also say that it's so important to have some kind of action when you experience racism.
Now you're supposed to.
Yeah, I feel like if she allowed him to get away with that joke, he's going to continue to make more jokes, and it's probably going to get even worse because he's going to continue to test the waters with her. And she's got to step up and be like, "No, you're not going to get away with this.
Yeah.
That ain't funny to us."
I'm saying, if you want to be a comedian, we can make the crowd laugh. We can go back and forth with a roast session. Because look, there's only 2 minute jokes you can make that before you run out of yours. But especially when it's a type of triggering type of style joke that you want to use. You know what I'm saying? Then you have those who do dark humor as well, when you can really hear the racism behind the joke, and it's not even funny. It's like, wow, you really tried to hurt me with your words. Yeah, I feel like I agree with you. She definitely needed to just go ahead and not let that happen and speak on that regardless of how she may want to. But I feel like addressing it more so was going to really stop him from making those jokes again every time you see her, or anytime she put on a new style at the job.
Right, and then, if she stands up, they will check themselves on trying to make a joke to the next person.
Yeah.
Because that ain't funny. People joke on the in the comment section with us all the time about who you look like. Yeah, sometimes it may be positive people who we really do have a resemblance to, but sometimes Dion don't look like no Floyd Mayweather. Okay? That's what they be coming in the comment section and saying.
Can y'all believe basketball players?
Yeah.
Can y'all believe? Yes, what it is.
What I did was to report him to my manager then and let him know how inappropriate his comment was. And then I went on to confront him myself 5 days after and just let him know that I did not find his comment funny and that I found it very inappropriate. So I think it's important to stand up for yourself when you can.
Facts.
And I try to as much as I can, otherwise people would just take you for granted and treat you in ways you don't want to be treated. So that happened that one time. And I've also had an experience where I had this colleague, for a long time when we're in team meetings or having conversations. He would be very responsive, speak to people, talk to people. But guys, every single time I made a comment or spoke about something, either contributing or suggesting, this guy will go mute. I'm not even joking. Like, he won't say anything because I'm talking. He won't respond. He will just act like I'm not there. That kind of thing. Like, he would just go, and it was so obvious. And I always wonder that, do other people even see what this guy is doing? Do they notice it? He will be so mute as soon as I start speaking. And just to ensure it wasn't just in my head, I had to confirm somehow, So there was a day when I called his name. Let's just assume he's Matthew. Let's do that. So I'm like, Matthew. The first 3 calls, he didn't respond. And I used my pen to hit his table to get his attention. And he's like, "What? I don't want to talk to you." I'm like, wow, I see. I wasn't wrong the whole time. He just didn't want to have anything to do with me.
Little Matthew
I'm like, wow, like how? Wow, like it was just so shocking. Even though
Okay, so
Yeah.
I have dealt with something like this before.
Uh-huh.
But my thing is, I like when you just be quiet and stay over there and not interact with me. That's okay. Just like we have our African American culture where we're from, there's people who hold on to that, to what they're told about, other races, and they cool with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
As long as you don't bother me, disrespect me, I'm fine with you not wanting to speak to me, baby. Because I ain't there for you. So if we was to go to Australia and we bring into that encounter, it wouldn't really bother me.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Cool, stay over there.
Yeah.
I'm not here for you. I'm here for the people of Australia who want to interact with us, want to share their culture with us, their food and all of that. I'm not here for the negative side.
Yeah, and if it's deep-rooted hatred that they have in their heart, it's going to come out. It's going to come out. They're going to expose themselves because it's something you just can't pretend
Right.
to not be for too long before you have to be that to that type of person. I mean, that's just what it is. If the environment or the community is like that, then you just got to exit that type of community, no longer want to be involved in it. Or you can start checking stuff and letting people understand, like, yo, you got a problem? You got a problem? Like, if anybody got an issue, I'm working here too, and this is how we're going to run this thing together.
Yeah.
If not, then, yeah, like you said, keep y'all distance, because we don't got
distance.
time to mix and do all that extra stuff.
If it's not directed, it ain't respected.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's crazy. She look like an innocent lady, though.
She
Like,
do.
it doesn't seem that she should have any hard times on the job. But then again, people are who they are, and you can't shake that.
Right.
Already knew. It was still very shocking for me that you would choose not to speak with me, whereas you speak with everybody else on my team. And at the time, I was the only black person in my team. I have never shared this with anybody, well, aside my husband, interestingly. So all those months of assuming, I was actually correct that this guy didn't want to have anything to do with me. Now, there's no other reason. This is never me making things up. It was obviously because he just didn't like me as a black woman, unfortunately. For him, actually, not for me. Unfortunately for him. So that was my second most memorable encounter with a racist person. I've also had times where I'm on the public train and where the seats are almost filled up. There's probably one seat beside me and you have someone, and not just Australians, guys, bearing in mind that it's a very culturally diverse country we have. So I've had there was one time where an Asian guy saw this seat right next to me and looked at my face and chose not to sit down. Now,
More room for me.
why? In my opinion, that's your loss. Beautiful girl, you see me, you don't want to sit down by my side, that's your loss. So what I do then is I take my handbag that I've placed on my lap and just put it beside me so my handbag is more comfortable since you don't want to sit down. I've had that happen to me twice where there's a seat by my side and this person looks me in the face and chooses not to sit beside me. Like, interesting, right? Very interesting. Yeah. So those are my major racist experiences from what I can recall. But also, guys, bear in mind that I've been here for almost 5 years and this has happened to me just four or five times in all throughout my stay here. I've had a few friends talk to me about their experiences. They've had similar experiences like mine, or just people asking the most insane questions, So what is Africa like? And also, a lot of ignorant people in Australia think that Africa is a country. So they do not know much about us as Africans, and really, why should they? I mean, if you don't think that you should know about a people, you will definitely make assumptions about them. And also bearing in mind that all they know and all they see is what the media shows them.
Yeah.
So there's that projection and how the media portrays Australian and Nigerians or Africans, as helpless, poor, hungry. So they have generalized that every African person or black-skinned person in Australia is either a refugee, poor, helpless, and just found their way in here in search of greener pastures.
Okay, so I was studying something in history recently. What was I studying? I was studying the American Revolutionary War.
Okay.
And some of the black Americans who fought in the American Revolutionary War, the British promised them freedom.
Yeah.
Right? Because slavery was going on during that time. Some of them were shipped to Australia. I would love it, and this may be a long shot, but I would love it if there is a person who has black American ancestry. That even sound crazy, huh? But if their family was a part of the American Revolutionary War and they ended up in Australia, I would love to hear you all's story today. Like, that side of history. Like, what happened once y'all got to Australia.
Yeah.
How that all came to play. I would love to know their experience of being black in Australia.
That'd be good to listen to.
Yeah,
That
it
would
really
be.
would be.
Bearing in mind that a huge percentage of Africans are probably skilled migrants, professionals, skilled trained people, so that they have that assumption that we are lesser than them, which is very, very unfortunate. Again, there are a few people who are well informed, and if you get to know them, are actually good, friendly people. It's not all bad. And I can say very categorically that Australia is a very safe country for immigrants. It's not what you hear happening in America, for example, where people are mean, in your face kind of mean, using the N word and things like that. I've listened to a YouTuber say that at first encounter with a racist in Australia, the person actually used the N word with her. I've never had it that bad, and I do not hope to. And that's why I said earlier that everybody's experience is different. So yeah, people ask you silly questions like, and comments like, your English is so good. I had that a lot when I just came here, and I'm like, well, I think your English is good too. End this thing about racism by saying that it is there definitely. It is subtle, and if you are not very sensitive about it, you would think that the person is just making a joke, but it is there, and it's something that we have to come to terms with. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who lack knowledge, and that's why they behave that way. And it's also important to learn how to be firm when you have these experiences, so you know how to stand up for yourself. And above all, I think it's important to be proud of your identity, your color, and all that you represent, irrespective of what some ignorant people might think or how they might treat you. And this will also go for parents raising children here, to get them to be very confident in their identity. I always wonder for black children who were born here, if they've had different experiences compared to people like us who came into the country with our own mindsets already and things like that. I wonder if they have it easier. But yeah, I think that there will always be racism. It will always be there. But speaking for Australia, I consider it a very safe country for immigrants, and the racism is something you can definitely live with and deal with successfully. Yeah. So as far as being black in Australia, I would also touch on representation or the lack thereof. As a black woman, we have our very unique needs. I recall that for the first year or the first 2 years I was in this country, I always had to shop for hair products online, shop for makeup products online, because I just could not find what I need, as far as the correct shade for my makeup products. If you go, even till now, guys, if you go to the very common, popular drugstores, you will hardly find your shade of foundation or powder or things like that. Aside for MAC has a wide range of foundation for black skin women, as well as Mecca. I believe they also stock a wide range. But your everyday drugstores or supermarkets will not have. You probably just see the pale shade of foundation, which is not very good. I mean, for a country that claims to be culturally diverse, this only just it seems like they only tolerate the diversity and they don't celebrate. A lot of organizations claim to be inclusive and all, but I think that they have to be more intentional about it. Being black, I'm constantly aware of my own presence in a lot of places, especially in the workplace. My first job, corporate job, I was the only black person in my team, and this job I'm currently working in, I am still the only black person in my team. I know that a lot of companies tend to try to be more inclusive, as far as diversity is concerned, but I think that a lot more work needs to be done in this area. I think in terms of offerings, there is a lack of representation. Yeah, so
okay, I could agree with her on that. Because I mean, listen, if I was living out there and I got locks in my head, right, and then I need a certain style of product for my hair to do a twist, form, and hold. If you guys don't have anything like that, that would be my conversation as well. There's not really much representation when it comes to people like me who have this hairstyle, and I would want more people to have businesses out here for me and people like me, so we can all have our business and money exchange that way.
Right.
But if there's none, then I feel like, yeah, it's kind of sucks,
But with things like that, they have to be spearheaded by the people who are in lack. First of all, okay, let's say there's lack of diversity in crayons.
Crayons, beautiful.
I don't want to put crayons.
You can do crayons.
Crayons have done a great job at the skincare crayons and things like that. But
girl, I am off the record when you talk about. I thought you were talking about the box.
I was talking about the box. Crayons.
There's a skincare for crayons?
No. I was talking about the colors for kids.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're on the same page.
Remember, they have the skincare line now with the color. Not skincare. What am I saying? The shades for the skincare, the different skin tones. All right, so let's say crayons came out with something like that, and it was only the peach, it wasn't a wide scale.
Let's say there's like green, orange, and yellow.
Right. And if I was the brown and I don't see brown, okay, I'm going to create a product for brown. That's why we have so many skincare lines. We have puzzles that shows brown and black kids on it now. We have so many of that. If there's a lack of diversity somewhere, create it.
No, 100%. I was just sending out that letter. Send a few of them out to the businesses that you want to see it at.
Yeah.
As far as buying food, it was a bit of a struggle initially, but it's quite easy. We have our African stores that have almost everything you need to eat healthy as an African man or woman. Our supermarkets will still have the regular fish and meats and vegetables that any African person can eat. Yeah, so another one that comes to mind is when people stare at you because you look different, you dress different. I recall a time where we went out for lunch, my family and I was dressed in this bright colored Ankara fabric. It was really bright. It had red, yellow, and green. And people were just mesmerized. They just kept staring at me. They could not control how hard they stared at me. So you get that stare, and I think it's because you're fabulous. You look really good, So yeah, I get stares from time to time. I even get children staring at me, especially elderly people, stare at them hard, stare at black people hard, just trying to figure them out, I guess. So I think that's most of what I intend to share in this video. In all, I've grown. I enjoy living in the country. It's a country where you can be successful and thrive and, enjoy with your family. So it's safe and I love it. Like I said, if you get to know the good ones, you can actually make friends. It might take some time, but it's definitely a country that you can live in and be happy there. I've been happy. And it gets easier, these experiences, it gets easier, and eventually you might not even notice it anymore because you're doing fine and it's settled into the system. So if you've had any different experiences from what I've shared, please let me know in the comment section.
Yeah, make sure I go check her channel out, show some love. Y'all have definitely got on us when it comes to the stares and normalizing it and letting us know what is the different reasons why people can stare. But that works over there. You get what I'm saying? Like here, when we see someone staring at us, it's a lot of times it don't end too well. No. They're either trying to figure out what you're doing here or where you're going. You don't belong here. They're trying to figure out if you got anything on you. It could be a call that could be made. It can be something that can happen where you can be followed. It's a lot of different things, and stares can be meaning different things for different locations.
Right, and I know there's gonna be that one person that come in the comment section and be like, "Well, y'all have all these guns. That's why it's like that there." No, because although I am well protected, I'm a short person. You shouldn't be staring at me for no reason.
Yeah.
Okay, so the stares is just one thing that is just. I guess we're just gonna have to get used to abroad because I'm not used to that.
Well, the eyes are like the window to a person, and you can really feel the emotion through eyes. So if the stares is like dead stares, like I'm gonna feel creeped out.
Right. The thing is, we just gonna have a staring match, and I'm gonna attempt to say hi, and if you don't say hi back, then I'm gonna feel even more like you staring at me for that reason.
It wouldn't even be a happy hi; it would be like a weird hi because it's like a hi. I see you see me. We good?
But the type of person I am, I like to speak to people.
Facts.
But if I speak and you don't speak back, then that's telling me that, that stare is what I'm thinking it is,
Yeah.
But all in all, Australia seems like a great place to visit, a great place to go to. We have reacted to a lot of Australian content on the channel. Plenty. We have interacted with a lot of Australians, and we have a good fan base in Australia.
Yeah, and I know that you guys don't like it when people misrepresent y'all because y'all can also mention like there's only a certain amount of people like that. The overall of us aren't like that, and we have a big respect for y'all because in our comment section, y'all do show mad love as well. So, but this is her experience that she mentioned, and you can't knock that. You know what I'm saying? This is her memory. This is her reality. Right. And most of the things that happen to her is what she speaks about. Right.
But all in all, that's her experience. All right, and that's her truth. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Be sure to subscribe. We'll see you soon.
Peace.